Okay, think about your best idea. The one that could truly change everything. Now imagine someone else just taking it and running. Well, today we are going way beyond just talking about legal documents. We're going to build a fortress around your ideas, turning a simple licensing agreement into an ironclad defense.
So, you've done it. You've created something incredible, you've found a partner, you've signed the deal. But what happens when that partner breaks the rules? Suddenly, your revenue is at risk, your brand's reputation is on the line, and the whole future of your innovation is in doubt. Yeah, this is exactly why we need that fortress.
So, where do we even start? Well, not with limitations, actually. We start with strategic design. We're not just putting up fences here. We're drawing the actual blueprint for a fortress that's going to protect your intellectual property for years to come. These guardrails are the perfect way to think about it. See, these restrictions aren't meant to stop progress, not at all. They're there to guide it. They define really clear boundaries so your collaboration can actually flourish safely. It's kind of like handing someone the keys to a high-performance car, but making it crystal clear it's for the racetrack, not for off-roading. But, and this is a big but, here's the tightrope you have to walk. If you go too rigid, you're just going to scare off the best partners. You'll suffocate the very innovation you're trying to encourage. But if you're too lenient, well, you're basically leaving the keys to the kingdom on the welcome mat, just inviting someone to exploit your work and destroy your brand. It's a tough balance.
So how do you find that sweet spot? It is all about customization. You have to think ahead. For example, your restrictions for software might focus on, say, the number of users, while a patent license might be all about production quotas or where it can be sold. Totally different needs, right? And you have to build in some flexibility. Instead of an outright ban on sublicensing, maybe you just require your written approval first. That protects you, but it still gives your partner room to grow.
All right, with our blueprint in hand, it's time to start laying the bricks. We're moving from a theoretical design to something you can actually hold, a tangible, ironclad legal agreement. These are the very walls of our fortress. This really gets to the heart of it. Your agreement needs to be more than just a shield. It has to be a sword, actively pushing your business forward. If your goal is to break into a new market, then that contract should be your battle plan, not just some long list of don'ts. So let's break it down into 4 key steps for building those walls. First, make sure the contract lines up with your goals. Is it global expansion you're after? The agreement better reflect that. Second, and this is important, think like a pessimist for a minute. Anticipate conflict. What happens if the licensee goes bankrupt? You got to address it upfront. Third, embed modern safeguards. We're talking encryption, digital rights management, that sort of thing. And finally, and this is absolutely critical, always define the exit strategy. You need to know exactly how to end the partnership if things go south. And we've got to reinforce those walls with some essential parts. Of course, confidentiality is a no-brainer. Scalable restrictions, that lets the deal grow as your partner finds success. Clear performance metrics make sure everyone is on the same page about what success even looks like. Protection against third-party claims is huge. It means you won't get dragged into their legal messes. And specifying jurisdiction, well, that's crucial, especially with global deals. You always want to choose your home turf for any potential fight. Okay, the fortress is built, the walls are high, the gates are locked, but you know what? A fortress without guards is just a fancy prison for your IP. So now we move to the active, day in, day out process of monitoring to make sure that agreement is actually being followed. And this right here is such an important shift in thinking. We're not playing a game of gotcha. The goal is to create a collaborative environment where both sides get the following the rules protects the value of the IP for everyone involved. This is about mutual success, not mutual distrust. So what does guarding the walls look like in the real world? Well, it's a whole toolkit. You can require regular data reports. That gives you a clear window into how your IP is being used. You can do periodic audits, which is kind of like a friendly spot check. You can lean on tech, like DRM. Think of it as a digital lock and key. You can even use AI to spot weird patterns that might signal a breach, like a silent alarm that tells you something's up. So what happens if that silent alarm goes off? The key is a swift but measured response. First, you put on your detective hat and you document everything. Then you become a diplomat. You open a dialogue. Hey, it could be a simple misunderstanding. If not, you switch to project manager, outlining clear steps to fix it. And only then, if all of that fails, do you become the enforcer and invoke those powerful clauses you built into your fortress. So, we've built our fortress, we've posted our guards, and we've got a plan for any intruders. But the world outside those walls, it's constantly changing. So how do we make sure our IP is protected, not just today, but for the long haul?
And here it is. This is the single most important thing to take away from all of this. Your licensing agreement isn't some historical document you file away and forget about. No way. It's a living, breathing part of your business strategy. As the market shifts, as technology evolves, your fortress has to be able to adapt right along with it.
And that leaves us with one last really critical question. You might feel totally secure today, but did you build your agreement with enough foresight, with enough flexibility to handle the changes coming tomorrow? Because in the world of IP, the only thing you can be certain of is change. So go build that fortress, but never, ever stop watching the horizon.